Yo, what's good, guys? It's your favorite guy on YouTube that only uploads when he wants you lot to listen to his poetry or come to one of his spoken word shows where he's performing and bombarding you with all his information and all his life stories that most of you probably don't give a shit about. So if you're judging yourself by someone else's standard, then that's just ridiculous. 2019 and that hope all of you lot had a great year. I got lots of stuff pending as usual, so I just wanted to talk about some stuff that's been on my mind and really just impart some knowledge. So basically, a lot of you know that one of the most important things to me, one of the things I care about a lot, is entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship's always been like at the forefront of my life in terms of like it took me out of the position I was in to get to where I am now as an artist. You know what I'm saying? Is the concept of entrepreneurship. Is it learned or is it something you're born with? And I say this mainly because I've been having this dilemma recently where I feel like I've given a lot of man the keys. When I say the keys, it's kind of like I've put people on in a way where I've given people money, I've given people opportunity, and some people have been able to run with it, and some people have kind of just been like stagnant. And I think like maybe it's what they say, you can take a horse to the water, but you can't make them drink it. And maybe some people are born with it, some people are not. As a wise man, Drizzy once said, he says, if you got it, you got it. If you ain't, you ain't. Something like that. Anyway, the theory is brilliant. He says something along them lines.
Take a look at yourself, the mirror's revealing. If you ain't got it, you ain't got it. The theory is brilliant.
Now, Alan Sugar, who's a very prominent entrepreneur from London, you may have seen him on The Apprentice.
Stephen.
Oh, Lord Trigger.
No,
I would be the next project manager. Do an excellent job.
You're not going to be the next project manager because I think you are a lost cause in this process. Stephen, you're fine.
That's the UK Apprentice, by the way, before obviously went to America and my man just went and did his thing and became president. Yeah, that's a different subject. But anyway, he had an interesting thing to say about entrepreneurship in his book. He says basically, let me find the book, hold up. It's a good book, by the way, if you ain't read it. I can't lie, there. Oh, it's backwards, isn't it? Yeah, I can't lie, I haven't read all of it. I'm going to be 150% honest with you lot, but I'm getting there. Anyway, he says, listen. At the numerous talks I give around the country these days, I often hear the term entrepreneurial spirit bandied about. All these talks, there'll be a Q&A, and it never fails to annoy me when somebody stands up and says, hello, I'm an entrepreneur. It really winds me up. An entrepreneur is not a word to be used lightly. It's certainly not something you call yourself. It should be a term used by a person when describing another's abilities. I refer to my entrepreneurial spirit as I have been branded an entrepreneur so many times by so many people. I feel I've earned the right and I can see what it takes to be labeled as such. I often say that it doesn't matter which business school or what books you read. You can't go into Boots, which is a shop obviously where they sell like health equipment. He's using that as an example, and buy a bottle of entrepreneurial juice. Entrepreneurial spirit is something you're born with, like a concert pianist's talent. In the same way, you've either got the entrepreneurial spirit or you haven't. It resides within you and it's sparked off by ideas that come about through the various situations you find yourself in. Big words from Lord Sugar, but I get what he's saying. He's basically saying, listen, like if you haven't got it, you haven't got it.
Look at yourself, the mirror's revealing. If you ain't got it, you ain't got it. The theory is brilliant.
So basically, from a young age, what was the first time I saw entrepreneurs? I grew up in Wood Green, North London, innit? So I spent my formative years, and I can tell you hands down, I didn't have the most positive examples of entrepreneurs. Like, they made a lot of money, but yeah, they ended up in a lot of places for an extended period of time for the reasons and the means they used to make the money. If you get what I'm saying, I'm not going to discuss or condone or indict anybody by mentioning anything past that. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. But outside of that, I thought, what about the playground hustlers? Those were the first people who, without no business school, without no funding, I saw them able to make businesses. And I was thinking, are they really entrepreneurs? Because I guess an entrepreneur is if you can become profitable of your business or your idea. I remember I used to have my little G-ish in it, and I remember I'd see Ish with like a massive box, you know, like a box of chocolates and sweets and stuff like that. I was a lot older by that time. I'd finished and everything, and I was like, where are you taking that? And he says, oh, I'm buying them in bulk so I can go and sell them at school. And if that's not entrepreneurship, I don't know what anyone is. I said to him, how much you making? I think he said he was making £60 a week. £60 a week at 13. If I was making that, I would have retired by now, bro. I would have retired. I would have been like, yo, mom, I'm done. Look, I'm paying the bills in the house. You get what I'm saying? So I wanted to do more research about playground hustlers. So the first kid who came up was a kid whose Instagram is Kenyon Ken. And this youth said he was actually making $500 a week selling sweets.
When I was doing it, I was averaging about $100 a day. You can easily bring in way more than that a day. If you watch my video on how to sell candy, I'm telling you.
You know, and he has the video and he shows about how he does it and everything. It's mad. You can watch that video. Now, the next one, which impressed me even more, was this kid from Walthamstow. I think he actually went to school in North. His name is Nathan John Baptiste. He calls himself the Wolf of Walthamstow. This youth made 50 bags selling sweets. For those who don't know, 50 bags equals thousands. That means like, yeah, it's just talk for what thousands is. So he made 50k selling sweets. What he did was he actually employed other kids in other schools. He had 11 employees and they were selling for him. If that's not entrepreneurship, I don't know what is. If at that age that's not entrepreneurship, I don't know what is. I respect that hustle. You get what I'm saying? Nathan as well, it was very, very, very structured. He was like Heisenberg of the playground. You know, he's got this kid here, that kid here.
And then what I did was, once I started selling the penny sweets, I thought in year 8, that's the time now I've got to sort of expand the business, and I used to buy it in wholesale bulk, and then it just expanded from there. I sold Chewits, Lucasades. Year 9, that's when it also grew, but then in year 8 I was able to employ a seller. Then at the end of year 8,
and the next kid I found, his name was Tommy Robinson, and his story is even madder. Imagine this kid made 14 racks here, so that's 14,000 selling sweets in school. And this businessman from Australia actually wired him 50 bags, 50 racks, 50k, 50,000, simply because he said he reminded him of himself when he was young. That's 5-0, so he did it. That's a lot of money to do just because someone rates what you're doing. This Tommy kid is funny. There's a video about him. He goes into the shop, flossing, all that stuff.
1,500 here right now, and the rest is in the bank accounts, which I'll be spending today. I'm not really bothered if I spend this amount of cash.
And after this, because of his newfound celebrity, he went and then signed a bottle of Lucasade and then put it on eBay, which apparently then sold for 100 racks as well. So in total, this kid has made 164 racks of selling sweets. And I always say this, people, if you're in school, if you're in university right now, that's the best place to cultivate the people around you. Because like, say if you're a musician, you have the audience right there. You get customer feedback by the people just around you. Say if you're a photographer and you need clients, or you want to be a model, there's photography students. You want to make films, there's film students. All this stuff in that environment is the best place to nurture those talents. Now, what I really find interesting about both these stories is that both these kids were actually threatened with suspension. Is that not mad? In school, that's supposed to cultivate that spirit. Anyway, let me tell you what Tommy's headmaster said. This is actually funny. He said, "We admire this pupil's entrepreneurship, but school is not the place to set up a black market of fizzy drinks, sweets and chocolates. We have extremely high standards, and with our healthy eating policy, we don't allow isotonic drinks, fizzy drinks and large amounts of sweets for the good of our children. Our high standards are set out to pupils and their parents at the start of the school year." It's mad how an institution that's supposed to cultivate that talent is kind of like, what's the word, stifles it. I mean, they could have given the kid a website. They could have told him how to build a website. They could have given him a spot in the school and be like, listen, as long as you register your business, do your taxes, all that kind of stuff, and have an inventory and hire people, we'll let you run that. Really just nurture that spirit. Isn't that the whole point of them not going to school in the first place? I guess we didn't really answer the question, but I'd love to know what you guys think. Do you think entrepreneurship is learned, or is it something you're born with? And also, I'd love to hear any examples that you guys have of like big hustles within the playground. You know what I mean? I remember back in school, there was the girls that would do other people's hairs. You know, there was the kids that sold the lunch tokens. You know, the lunch tokens, which were basically kind of like people that got free lunches, and then they'd sell their token to people that didn't, but they sell it for cheaper than it was buying it in the school canteen. Yeah, I'd be interested to know if you guys like this video, because when I find time to do something like this, I'll come and do more. Make sure you actually physically like it. Make sure you engage in the comments, and yeah, turn on your notifications for all my videos going forward. And if you're new and you don't know when I'm gonna come back on YouTube or when you're gonna see my face again, I'm in and out, whatever, make sure you subscribe to be made aware of that rare occurrence when you see Suli breaks on your screen.